Johnny, what's up? It's T, Hot Rod, and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up? Hot Rod, what up? L Train, y'all know what time it is, man. It's the Three the Hard Way. Cleveland's finest, y'all. The biggest and the baddest.
Welcome to another episode of Three the Hard Way. We got a lot of business to talk about, but let's take care of some business, and let me introduce my guys, the host of the ever-growing new locker room, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What's going on, Hot Rod?
What is going on, fellas? What is going on, Three the Hard Way Nation? You know who this is. This is your friendly neighborhood coach, and as I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And we call him the captain, the man who bleeds Guardians, the man who bleeds Cavs, the man who bleeds Cleveland Browns. Any sports team in Cleveland, the captain bleeds. Cap, what's going on with you, man?
What's going on, Three the Hard Way Nation? What's going on, fellas? Let's get this ship underway. Let's go.
Well, fellas, we have been waiting for this, and Saturday, the dogs started barking again. And I know it was preseason, but, you know, sometimes you get tired of all the practices. You get tired of all the highlights, inter-squad scrimmages on the news. You just want to see your Cleveland Browns play somebody else. Well, the Cleveland Browns did, and all eyes were on a lot of different things with the Cleveland Browns, but I think the majority of the people, because there has been no decision made, was looking at the quarterback position. So was the preseason game what you expected to be? Were there some things that surprised you, fellas? Were there some things that you were disappointed in? Overall, kind of give me and the rest of Three the Hard Way Nation out there kind of your insight in what you got from the game.
I'll start off by saying this. Let me talk about what I liked, okay? I'm going to start off with KC Concepcion, okay? Return and punt.
Speedster.
I'm going to like that. Going to like that. Also, too, him as wide receiver opposite of Boston, okay? I like that. I like the energy that kid, brings out. I think he even scored a touchdown. They pitched it off to him in the backfield, and I believe he scored. So I love what he brought to the table, okay, Concepcion. I also love what the special teams look like, okay? I like our special teams because special teams is key, all right? It's just like in baseball, the bullpen is key, okay? Special teams is key. So that's what I did like. Also, too, today, Todd Monken said he liked what he saw, okay? He said it was good to hear the whistle blow and them start, playing football. He was looking at the game within the game, okay? Can they, minimize the penalties? And I think we had a couple of penalties, on the offensive line, but they're gelling, they're new, okay? They have to, learn to play together, and that was game one. So, can we, get the snap off in time? Can we get out the huddle on time? And again, minimize penalties. Now, getting to the quarterbacks, and I'm sure Hot Rod will dive into it further. Deshaun Watson, he was for 15 for 126 yards. And then Shedeur was 6 for 11 for 79 yards. Neither one of them looked spectacular. However, they didn't look bad, okay? And then also, too, getting back to Deshaun, a couple of those passes, he put right in the bread basket, and the receivers dropped him, okay? So again, he didn't look spectacular, nothing to write home about, but he wasn't terrible either. And also, too, the Browns got out to that 10-0 lead, and then, in the second half, I believe, they put in, their second and third string. So the first string didn't look bad early on, okay? Now, I felt a little down in the dumps after the game was over because we did, lose, okay? We did lose because at the end of the day, you do want to win. But just looking at some stuff, watching them play and looking at the different things, it wasn't, a bad way to kick things off. I'm not going to go bury my head in the sand, nor am I going to let people at work tomorrow pick on me, that they lost. It was, again, a preseason game. One of three more to come, a total of 4. So we'll see what they look like, next week. But Deshaun, who hadn't, played in about 3 years, 2-3 years, or 2 years. Yeah. He wasn't terrible. And he wasn't great either. But hey, I was listening to the national media this morning. They were kind of, saying, hey, he is a step in the right direction. And same thing with Shedeur. Shedeur has shown improvement. He's shown improvement. So we'll see how he, fares out this week as they, work and practice with Buffalo and then play them next week. So that's my take. But I just wanted to start off with highlighting the good, because there was some good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let me jump to the defensive side of the ball first. Okay, so of course, no Denzel Ward, no Tyson Campbell, no
Right.
Carson Schlesinger. Mason Graham played a few snaps and then he was off the field. So the starting defense wasn't there. Okay, however, you got to find your quality backups, and I was a little concerned, watching a lot of the backup positions and how things were going. Now, at the end of the day, it's still preseason, guys.
Right.
I'm not getting alarmed and my britches ain't getting into a bunch because it's preseason, okay? Switching over to the offensive side of the ball, KC Concepcion is electric.
Yeah.
If that dude would not have gotten hit by the turf monster, he might have taken that kickoff back.
Right.
Okay.
He would have taken it back.
He would have, yeah.
He would have taken it.
That bad Chicago
mean,
field, bad field.
The only person that I saw that was electric like that was a man by the name of Dante Hall, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs, the human joystick. But KC Concepcion is electric. Okay, he's not just fast; he's electric. He got some giddy up.
He's a burner.
Denzel Boston had one catch. It kind of got spread out. Hey, look, guys, Jerry Jeudy caught 2 balls.
He sure did.
Okay. There should be a round of applause for Jerry Jeudy. He caught 2 balls.
Let me hit that. Let me get that round of applause.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You got that?
He knows he has to step up his game. He knows.
Yeah, he caught 2 balls. Now on the other side, Harold Fannin Jr. dropped a ball that he was wide open. Which is not Harold Fannin Jr. That's why I said it's preseason. We're not gonna trip. Now, Quinshon Judkins didn't have a great game. They really didn't run the ball effectively. But I really think Todd Monken really wasn't concerned about running the football.
Right.
I think he wanted to see, the offensive line in pass pro. Looking at the offensive line as a whole, they did not do badly as a whole. The starting unit, Fano didn't look bad. I mean, he was thrown in the fire. He held his own. Are they there yet? No, not by any stretch of the means. They're not there yet. When it comes to Deshaun Watson, no, he did not look horrible. He didn't shock the world. He had a turnover. He didn't look squeamish, but like I said, he didn't look like the Deshaun Watson that people are anticipating. And I'm not knocking him. He still had a decent game. It's preseason. Shedeur came in, threw a bad interception. And you know me, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat it. It was a bad interception. Did he get his hand hit? Not sure. But it was a bad throw. But here's the thing with Shedeur. He made the right read. That's all I was looking for with him. Was he making the right reads? Now, did he leave some stuff on the field? Sure. Because Shedeur's mindset is trying to drive the ball down the field, and I get that. But also, he's going to learn through his progression, hey, sometimes take what the defense gives you. If they're giving you that little dig route inside that can get you, 15, 20, go ahead and take it. You don't always got to get the 35 and 40-yarder. A couple times I still think he drifts too far back, okay, in terms of his drop. But in terms of him getting out of the huddle, there wasn't a whole lot of penalties on the offensive side of the ball. There were a couple, but it wasn't a whole lot. Okay, so all I want to see in the preseason is progression. So, of course, the talking heads in Cleveland media, in the sports media, Deshaun Watson was clearly the front runner. Yeah. Shut up. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
It's coming.
It's coming. Monday morning quarterback, Aaron Goldhammer. It's coming. Emmett Golden, all you guys, it's coming. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. They all, yes, it's obvious. Shedeur is they both didn't look great. But now Shedeur is on deck. Shedeur is on deck next week. It's up to him to take that step forward. My problem, and I said this, and I'll say it again, Shedeur Sanders' biggest problem is he's a really nice guy. That's the problem. I don't have that. I don't have a problem with him being like that off the field. But when you walk in between those lines, you got to be a stone cold murderer.
Yeah, you said that last week.
In terms of sports, you got to be an assassin. Okay, and I would quote, and I would tell him to go back and look at your dad. Your dad, even though he was charismatic, even though he was entertaining, when he got in between them lines, he was trying to take your heart. Period. And I'm looking for Shedeur to take the bull by the horns. This job is his to lose. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm just not seeing it as of yet. So we'll see. Last quarterback play, Dylan Gabriel was awful. Just letting you guys know. I watched him. Dylan Gabriel was terrible. Yeah. He threw probably one of the baddest interceptions I've ever seen. Yeah. He threw the ball 8 to 10 yards over the receiver didn't even jump. He just looked. He must be throwing to somebody else. So anyway, looking forward to next week. I know they got practices this week, and we'll see. Shedeur is going to get the majority of the reps this week, and we'll see. It's up to Shedeur. And then for Todd Monken, after game 2, he's got a decision that he has to make because he made the statement, whoever's going to start game 3 is going to be my starter. Okay. So that means Deshaun Watson put his foot forward. Shedeur's got to put his foot forward. And then that third preseason game, we're going to know who's going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that surprised me, there was a lot of surprises in this game for me. The first thing is when I didn't get a chance to watch the game live. I had to go up and pick up my son, Northern Wisconsin. So it was a trip for me. But the good thing about that, I could take my time and watch the game. And when I watched the game, there was like a flood of emotion that came in right away that we didn't have Kevin Stefanski on the sideline. Man, that felt so good to my heart. Did you see? This is not an Atlanta Falcons podcast, so we're not going to make it that. But did you see the mess that was in Atlanta, their first preseason game?
I heard about it. I'm
not going to overreact to it because, like you guys have said,
it's just preseason. Yeah,
that is just preseason. But for our first, how you do? Let me introduce myself. Yeah. I'm the new coach. That was not a good look for Kevin Stefanski. Now, the second thing that I was surprised about was I thought Deshaun. See, my bar is low for Deshaun Watson. I did not expect to see the Deshaun Watson that I saw this past weekend. I'm not afraid to say it. That doesn't mean that he should be QB1, but I didn't expect the efficiency that he played with at times, his ability to move around. When you pop your Achilles twice, there's a mental hurdle that you have to get over, especially when someone is bearing down on you and you've got to take off and run. Yeah. I thought he did that. He's not the peak Deshaun Watson in terms of athleticism like he was back in the day, but he is good enough. I thought Deshaun Watson looked pretty good. And again, I'm not afraid to say that he is in the lead right now over Shedeur. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that he should be QB1, but there always has to be a leader in the race. And right now, I like the way Hot Rod stated it. He said Deshaun Watson put his best foot forward. So I do think he has a slight lead. Now, Shedeur didn't play terrible. I think when you hear all the media tomorrow, they're going to make it seem like he played terrible. He had some really, really good moments. I've seen a lot of improvement in terms of his footwork, his rhythm. Hot Rod, you're absolutely right. He was reading the field better. He's got a coach now. So a lot of the tutelage that he missed last year, he's bringing to the table this year. Now, next week, fellas, he's got to perform. He's got to perform. There is no excuses. He's going to get his opportunity with the ones, and he has to go out and put his best foot forward because I know a lot of people think, well, they're making excuses for Shedeur. I hear the same thing up here with the Minnesota Vikings. They're making excuses for J.J. McCarthy. You don't know how big the fall off is, especially with the offensive line. When you go from the ones to the twos, fellas, collectively, that is a big drop. And it's hard for quarterbacks to be efficient and effective. And I think part of that was the reason Shedeur made some of the mistakes. But next week, he's going to get his opportunity. Some of our key defensive players was out, and they played a very vanilla defense. But I thought I saw some good things from some of our younger players. And the Concepcion guy, oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You know, you start to implement that guy and give him space in the regular season, that's just another dangerous weapon for the Cleveland Browns, man. I have said this, and I am going to stand by this. I think that, especially when it comes to the national media, I don't think a lot of people think much of the Cleveland Browns.
No,
I don't
they
think
they don't.
You know, I don't think they think that the Cleveland Browns are even going to have a pulse in this division, let alone the AFC conference. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to be one of the most improved teams in the league. They have to be. And I'm not saying Super Bowl, of course. I'm not saying playoffs. I'm just saying the optics and what you see once the season starts is going to look so much better than we saw last year. And it's just something that you could just tell by watching the first preseason game. These guys are getting coaching. When you look at, other than Shedeur Sanders, fellas, you know, there were a lot of good things that we saw. Is it too early to overreact? I mean, I know it's one preseason game, but we've had a slew of practice. Is it too early to overreact to good things that we saw?
Yeah, it's too early. It not only the good, but to overreact on the bad as well. Okay. It's early. Again, yesterday's game, you know, you had the starters in the beginning, and then you pull them out, and then, you know, you're trying to get a look at everybody that you have. You know, there was a couple of guys that were playing corner yesterday I had never heard of, but, you know, made some pretty good plays, okay? So everybody's going to get a look. This is, you know, preseason. This is, you know, still, you know, the 2-on-2, you know, scrimmage between the two teams. So yesterday was an extended version of that. Now, you know, next week, another team comes in and you'll practice with them all week, and then you'll, you know, play a game. Okay.
Who's coming in for the Browns, T, next week?
Well, it's Buffalo. We're going up against Buffalo.
Okay,
Yeah, going up against the Bills. And that's a traditional thing, because I can remember as a kid, you know, going to, you know, training camps, you know, my dad taking us out there, you know, to Berea. I think you even went one time, Lionel. I've seen some pictures of you and Casey out there, okay? So, you know, they're in close proximity. You don't have to fly. You can ride the bus. And again, I think that'll be a good test going up against that Bills team, because they daggone sure look good. You know, they looked good last week. I forgot who they played, but they look good. And Josh Allen, I think, played the entire first half, so they're going to be ready. However, this is an opportunity for us to, you know, learn from, you know, some guys that are, you know, a premier team in the AFC. And getting back to, you know, nobody's picking us. I heard a lot of people thinking that the Bengals are going to, you know, take the division. They're not really sold on Pittsburgh, although, you know, Pittsburgh's, you know, two quarterbacks look pretty good in the preseason.
Will Howard didn't look too bad.
Yeah, he didn't look bad at all. He looked pretty good, okay? He looked pretty good. And the Ravens were on, you know, the other night too. I wasn't really paying them any attention. Snoop Huntley was, you know, under center playing. But again, nobody's really giving us a chance. However, you know, there's a guy that comes on Fox Sports I love listening to, Adam Kaplan. He said the Browns are going to be much more improved for two reasons. Now that they're getting coached, and their schedule is going to kind of, you know, go in their favor. So he's thinking that we're going to be, you know, much improved. Again, nobody's picking us to win, but much improved. And I'm still going to stick with, I see us with the possibility of winning 8 games. I see that. I think we can win 8 games this year.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pick.
No.
I look at it like this. First Energy Stadium next week is gonna be on fire. Okay.
You
have a lot of energy. It's gonna have a lot of energy.
You got Shedeur Sanders who's starting. That's gonna be one of the first preseason games that I see where First Energy probably gonna be sold out. Okay, people are gonna want to see this game. But the real key is what we're not seeing, and what we're not seeing is the joint practices. That's where Todd Monken is making his assessments, is the joint practices, not the big time game. It's the joint practices. So this week it's Buffalo. They're going to do a joint practice with Buffalo most of the week. We'll see how that goes. Okay. And then later on, in my coach's rant, I'm gonna touch base now. The L Train stoked the fire. I'm gonna touch base a little bit on the Atlanta Falcons and their brand new head coach. And so but I see, and I'm not gonna go out on a limb. I'm not gonna overreact to the good things. I'm not going to overreact to the bad things, being a football coach, understanding scrimmages and preseason, and, they're just really glorified practices. You just want to, you got to, banging and clanging up against, other people instead of beating each other up. Okay. And so I can't really make an assessment until I get to game one. That's where, now. The only one that I will rave, and we talked about him, is Concepcion. He's got a different gear. And so I didn't really watch that young man in college, but he's got my attention. Just like I said, with his speed alone. But I did say, on our show, is I think he possibly can potentially be a Pro Bowler at the returner position. So I can see that. I want to see Denzel Boston some more. I want to see Isaiah Bond. I want to see Harold Flanders. We got some weapons, guys. They're just young. That's the thing. They're just young, and they got to grow together. So they're going to have some growing pains. You know what I mean? But I'm looking forward to next week in First Energy. I'm looking forward to that.
You talked about the joint practices. I went to my first joint practice for the Minnesota Vikings last summer, and I was intrigued by it because how much they opened up the playbook. Like when you talk about the preseason, everything is vanilla because everything is film. Coaches and staffs, they don't want a lot of stuff to get out in terms of scouting. But when you go to those joint practices, man, you see a full playbook start to develop. Am I right about that, High Rod, that they save like a lot of that stuff for those joint practices?
Absolutely. They listen, Todd Monken doesn't have the playbook opened up. This so vanilla.
Right.
It is. You can't even make a sundae because all he doing is just pouring vanilla in a cup. He ain't putting no ice cream in there. He ain't adding no soda. He ain't adding none of that.
And that could be one reason, Hot Rod, why, Deshaun didn't throw anything over 10 yards. Possibly.
There you go.
Well, this is my assessment when it came to Deshaun.
Because he's healthy. He's healthy, Hot Rod.
It came to Deshaun is because Deshaun's biggest thing is his psyche. And so I think what Todd Monken was doing was protecting his mindset. Here's a guy who went through all these allegations, had to go through, hadn't thrown a competitive pass in 2 years.
Right.
Coming off of not just one Achilles tendon tear, but two.
Yeah.
And having to put him back in there, there's a lot of self-doubt. He had a press conference. He talked about, I'm not the same Deshaun Watson that I was, 5 years ago. I know people's expectations, are really high for me. He was kind of doubting himself. So I think Todd Monken and his group is dealing with him with pet gloves. Okay. I think they know they can try to bring the best out of him, but they have to walk him through holding his hands slowly. So that could be the reason, why he was dinking and dunking. You know what I'm saying? And so we just have to wait and see. We got to see. He'll be on the second half of next week's game. So we'll see how he rolls with the twos, and we'll see how Deshaun rolls with the ones.
Right.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that dog pound. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, and to add to that too, I think it was Thursday, one of the questions on Cleveland Sports Talk, okay, was, do we want to see Deshaun do well, okay? Do the fans want to see him do well? And, I just had to turn it off. As a Browns fan, I want to see everyone in a Browns uniform do well, okay? It's nothing personal about, for me, not liking the guy or liking one more so than the other. I want the Browns to do well. I want the Browns to win. So, when that poll question came out, again, would fans fear if Deshaun, did well going back to yesterday's game? I want him to do well. I want all those guys to do well. Okay. And again, I let leadership deal with if he does have a great season, what do you do with him at the end of the season? That's not my problem. I want to win. I want to win. So, again, here we go, Cleveland media, some Cleveland fans, feeling this way or that way about him. Yes, the guy was, accused of doing some very despicable things, okay? Very despicable. We all have flaws. I don't want you to see me on my best day, okay? So it's not about me judging this one or that, this and that, but I do want to see him do well. So the fact that they even asked that question, it just, just kind of, pissed me off. And as much as I love listening to, talk radio, but that day I just turned into FM radio and let the music play, man. But again, yeah, I want everyone in the Cleveland Brown uniform to do well. That's me.
Listen here, Cap. I turn off Cleveland sports radio. The ESPN Cleveland. When Tony Rizzo is not on that show, I cut that show off. Because Aaron Goldhammer is the absolute worst individual I've ever seen in sports radio history. So when Tony Rizzo is not on the radio with him, I will shut it off.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because he comes with the most ridiculous takes.
Yeah.
And then of course
he's a Denver guy. Remember, he's a Denver guy.
You gotta sit back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show and listen to Zach Jackson and that man. Anyway, I didn't listen to it at all this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you guys. I try not to listen to it. I listen to Rizzo because I like what he brings to the table on a daily basis. But you are correct. When he's off that show, usually on a Friday, he's not on that show on a Friday. I don't even bother flipping that thing on because I know what that show is going to be like. So let's bounce around the league, fellas. There's a lot of, news stories around the NFL before we transition to something else. I had mentioned the Atlanta Falcons earlier in terms of Kevin Stefanski, but I think the big story that came out of their preseason game was Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, he was not very impressive.
Right.
I think a lot of people have him etched in as QB1 for the year. If you were to ask some of their media people, like Michael Penix Jr., is not going to get a shot when he's 100% healthy, but he did not look good. And I don't think it was an overreaction. I just think that the Tua that you saw in that first preseason game is kind of what he has been with the Miami Dolphins. He has flashes and then levels of inconsistency the rest of the way. But if I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, I'm a little concerned right now, fellas.
Yeah, I would be too. And the honeymoon is over, Coach Stefanski. The honeymoon is over. Now, one thing about Atlanta, okay, they're one of those cities that isn't known for being a great sports town, okay? Because ATL now is the new, Hollywood, okay? That's Country Wayne's town, all right? So again, and you got so many transplants in that area, not too many people are diehard, let's say, Falcons fans. Now, getting back to, Tua, they say his hip is starting to bother him again. And I still remember when he played with Alabama, when he, broke his hip. Man, I felt for the guy, man. I really did. I didn't think he was going to ever recover and ever, come back. But they say his hip is bothering him. So it's going to be tough on him. So they're going to have to make a decision, okay?
They can trade for Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. There you go. The worst third. Yeah, they sure can. One of the worst third-round picks ever, okay? Yeah. Y'all can have Dylan Gabriel and give us somebody, for him. Because speaking of which, I really want, the kid from Arkansas, Jalen Green, I want somebody to start working with him because that guy is an athletic talent. And I heard someone the other day say he kind of reminds you of a young Randall Cunningham, okay? That's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot. That's saying a whole lot. So I'm hoping that somebody is working with him. I know he's a developmental quarterback, but I hope somebody is, working with him because he needs to be, the third string over Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, Dylan yesterday, he's just too small, man. He can't even see over his own offensive lineman, let alone the defense that's coming at him. So Coach, Stefanski, you can come get your buddy. Come get him. All right. Cause that was your choice, I think, in selecting him last year. Or whenever that was, they grabbed him. But you can have him because Tua just ain't got it, man. Tua, he doesn't have it.
So I'm gonna hold back my commentary right now a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this with Tua Tagovailoa. I want somebody, and the three the hard way, fans, y'all can email. Somebody tell me a quarterback that's come out of Alabama that's been worth anything other than Joe Namath. Don't use Joe Namath. Everybody, okay, we know Broadway Joe came out of Bama, but you give me a quarterback that's come out of Alabama that amounted to anything. I can't think off the top of my head. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Who was the old Oakland Raider quarterback back in the day?
Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler, yeah, Kenny Stabler.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I give you
the snake.
You know, I give you Joe Namath and Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler, yeah, the snake.
Now, how long has Alabama been in existence?
It's been a long time.
A million years, yeah.
Okay, and people don't come at me. Well, Jalen Hurts was in Alabama. Yeah, he transferred to Oklahoma.
I was about to say, do you consider Jalen Hurts Alabama or Oklahoma?
He left.
He
went to Oklahoma. So and I'm glad you said that, L, because people gonna come back. Yeah, coach. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, he's a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, he left and he went to Oklahoma. So the reason I'm saying that is because I've never been up on Alabama quarterbacks, even Jalen Milroe, who's in the league now. Have you heard anything from him? Remember, they were talking about the Browns getting him. I haven't heard anything from Jalen Milroe.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's because of the stigma of Alabama. I don't mess with quarterbacks from Alabama. If you want to get a good running back, Alabama. A decent wide receiver, Alabama. A kick butt linebacker, Alabama. But not a quarterback.
You can keep
not
them.
a quarterback.
Keep them.
Keep them.
Yeah. Hey, Ty Simpson is up at with the Chargers and Harbaugh.
I stake my claim, and I'll stay 10 toes down on it.
Oh, man. Hey, well, give me your insight. Let's move on from the Atlanta Falcons. You're going to come back a little bit later in the show and do what you got to do, Hot Rod. But let's talk about my Minnesota Vikings and New York Giants. I don't know if you had an opportunity to check that out, but the big story again there is the supposed quarterback competition that is not a competition anymore. Kevin O'Connell, the week before preseason game number 1, stated that Kyler Murray will be our QB1 and that J.J. McCarthy would be QB2, the backup. Give me your thoughts about what you saw this weekend from both quarterbacks.
Yeah, Kyler Murray looked pretty good. And then when JJ, came in, unfortunately, man, he, stuck up the joint, okay? So far, KOC is looking like a made man up there in Minnesota, L Train. Kyler looked like the veteran that he is. And you know what? Real talk. He should look, he should be in the lead. He should be. I feel for J.J. McCarthy, though, again, the position that he's in, because once you all cut him loose, and if you do let him loose, L Train, he's going to go somewhere and shine. Okay. But yesterday, again, let's not overreact. Let's not underreact. It was just, game 1 of a, preseason game, because Kyler Murray can come out next week and look terrible. He can, because he's not consistent. He's good. Don't get me wrong. That he was, the best thing that came out of the state of Texas that year he came out, which says a lot, because there's a million football players in Texas, period. They say he was the best, but he hasn't really shown consistency. So if I was J.J. McCarthy, I wouldn't feel so bad. Yeah, I didn't, put my best foot forward yesterday. I didn't. Hey, it's just preseason. Now, another thing that sticks out in that game is that hit. I don't know who that was for your Vikings that took that shot at the quarterback. He laid the wood on him.
Yeah, Jackson Dart went to sleep. He
put Jackson Dart on the carpet, man. He sure did. And they were saying, hey, it's just preseason, this and that. Hey, when that ball is snapped in between those white lines, like Mike Golick say, it's football. It's football and things happen, But getting back to your original question, Kyler looked good as he should. He's the veteran in that situation. And JJ just unfortunately didn't have a good day, man. Didn't have a good day.
Yep. Hot Rod, you know a little bit about Kyler Murray. He's up there where you are, playing for 7 years.
Yeah, Hot Rod,
Yeah. And my thing is, Kevin O'Connor, my message to him is this. In the movie, in Rocky, when Adrian told Rocky the second time, win.
Win, yeah.
Win.
Win, yeah.
Kevin O'Connell has to win.
He's got to win,
okay?
yeah.
He has to win. or the fans of the Vikings are going to run him out of town. And now he's put all his eggs in the Kyler Murray basket. And living here in Arizona and seeing Kyler Murray, I wish y'all the best, because I understand who Kyler Murray is when pressure hits. I understand why Kevin O'Connell chose Kyler Murray. You're paying him. He has potential of being an absolutely electric quarterback. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't like the way that this quote unquote quarterback competition went. I don't think you gave JJ McCarthy the opportunity to really fight. Right. I think because of Kyler Murray's name is why Kyler Murray is the starter. I understand it. At the end of the day, the NFL is a business. I get it. Okay. And Kyler looked like, when Kyler Murray's on his game, Kyler Murray is a guy, he's hard to defend. Okay. But what people are going to do to Kyler Murray is what's been done over his entire career. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside the tackle box and just swarm him because he can't see over the offensive line. Just use his size to his detriment. And so, can he get the ball to his weapons? Can he get it to Justin Jefferson consistently? Like I said, he might come out and set the world on fire. My question is not this year. My question for Kyler Murray will be for next year. When Kyler Murray's comfortable, when he don't have to worry about trying to get a big-time contract, then you're going to see the real Kyler Murray. And hopefully he's matured. I don't wish any ill to Kyler Murray. I just don't like the way if you're going to do a quarterback competition, do it the right way. Let it be a competition. Let them compete. And as far as JJ McCarthy, okay, it's time to put your big boy pants on, kid. You're not the starter. Does that mean you sit around and whine and cry about it? No. You go out, you put your best foot forward because they may use you as a trade asset. That way you can get out of there. But while you still in the media crying and whining, ain't nobody going to want to deal with that. Minnesota Vikings fans, buckle up because y'all getting ready to go for a ride.
And also, too, L Train, a lot of people in the media are picking you all to win that division, okay? A stacked division, okay? A stacked division. I think, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be between you all and the Bears, okay? Because all the teams are loaded in your division. So it's going to be a dogfight. So, KOC is saying, hey, I got to have my best guns available in this thing, okay? In you all's division, because there's no pushover. No way. Up there. It's all four teams are stacked, man. They're heavily stacked.
Yeah, I love when these games start and end because I think, a lot of people have biases. The one thing that I love what you say, Cap, I love what you say whenever you talk about the Cleveland Browns quarterback position, you always say what? I just want the best quarterback to play.
Best quarterback. Yeah.
I just want the best quarterback to play. And that's where I usually try to live. Like, everybody's wondering, how I became a Viking fan. Well, short story, I moved up to Minnesota to go to college. This is before NFL season ticket, so I couldn't get any of the Browns games back home. I was stuck in my dorm watching the Minnesota Vikings, and then slowly but surely, I became a Viking fan. And I think this whole quarterback thing has not been handled great up here. I think there are a lot of Minnesota Viking fans that thinks Kyler Murray is the savior. And so they're going to try to create every narrative to make that be so. Like, I look at the preseason game yesterday, man, and the one thing that I would say, keeping it real, the one thing I would say about Kyler Murray is that he looked very comfortable getting in and out of the huddle.
He's been there.
He looks very comfortable. The one thing I wanted to see was him under the huddle. He spent 80% of his time in the shotgun with the Arizona Cardinals, and he was under the huddle. Out of the 9 snaps that he got, he was under the center.
He's 2 inches taller than a small person.
Yep. He was under center 6 times with the Minnesota Vikings, and I think Kevin O'Connell is going to push that square peg through a round hole. I think he's going to have Kyler Murray under center the majority of the time with the Minnesota Vikings. And then up here, you would think that Kyler Murray looked fantastic yesterday. What did Kyler Murray do yesterday? But hand the ball off and complete 2 passes. That's all he did. I mean,
he kept it simple. He kept it simple.
He kept it simple. He didn't play out of pocket. He didn't look fantastic. He was a long ways away from looking terrible. The big thing that I saw is that he looked very comfortable, and I wanted to see him under center because I know he has really, even in college, even in high school, he's never really had to do that. So that is going to be something to watch for the Minnesota Viking and how that progressed. Because I'm with you, Hot Rod. I don't know how he sees over those linemen. They're going to have to do some rollouts. They're going to have to do some bootlegs. The quick game is going to have to be on point. That is not Kevin O'Connell's strong suit. We've never had a quick game up here in Minnesota, so that's going to be something to watch. In terms of J.J. McCarthy, people act like J.J. McCarthy was trash yesterday. J.J. McCarthy was not better than Kyler Murray. J.J. McCarthy was not better than Carson Wentz. And there are people that are speculating that Carson Wentz should be QB2 and J.J. McCarthy should be QB3.
Wow.
And looking at the performance yesterday, I can see that. But J.J. McCarthy, 4 for 7 for 34 yards, had some really good throws. Keep in mind, he threw a dime. He threw a dime to one of our rookie wide receivers, drop, 15, 16-yard drop. So, again, man, I'm not trying to create a narrative to push J.J. McCarthy because, like I've always said, I think the Minnesota Vikings should invest in the kid. I'm not saying that he's great right now. It is obvious that Kyler Murray is a better quarterback. As you guys said, he should be. Carson Wentz should be, but you have to have a coach that really believes in you. And right now, I think the Minnesota Vikings coaching staff, to be quite honest with you, I think they've moved on from J.J. McCarthy. I don't expect for him to be on this roster starting game 1 for the season. I think they're going to move him. I think they hope he plays a little bit better so they can get what they can from him. But I think they're very comfortable with the progression that Kyler Murray has shown in training camp. And they're really comfortable with Carson Wentz, who has a very good grasp of the playbook being QB2. So I do think that J.J. McCarthy has kind of slipped to that QB3 slot, fellas.
What do you expect to get for him, L Train, if they deal him? What do you expect to get for him?
Well, looking at the way they're trashing him up here and looking at his season last year, people are like, oh, we should get like a 4th, 5th round pick. I don't see them getting that for J.J. McCarthy. I'm looking at maybe a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. I mean, why would you go out and spend anything higher than that on J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah.
He has no film. He's getting bad press up here. He's having trouble layering the ball. Anything that can go wrong with the offense, they're blaming it on J.J. McCarthy. But I do think
he's a scapegoat. He's a scapegoat.
Yeah, he's scapegoat. And I do think he will be a good quarterback in this league. I just don't think it will be with the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
Two quarterbacks that have looked really, really good so far in preseason, and it's still early. Mendoza, not too bad.
Yeah.
Beck, not too bad. Fellas, give me your thoughts on those two fellas.
Yeah, definitely Mendoza. I took a kid to church with me this morning. He jumped in my Jeep. That's all he was talking about was Mendoza. That's all he was talking about, man. The other guy I didn't really see, but the kid for Pittsburgh, Ohio State, Will Down. In his name, he looked good. Which is scary, man. I don't want the Steelers to look good, but
Caleb Down.
Caleb Down. Yeah, he looked pretty good, and wow, there was a couple others, out there too. So, because again, the focus on, yesterday was, what did the quarterbacks look like? What are our expectations? What do we have to look forward to? And again, the main quarterback battle is, what we're experiencing in Cleveland and what you all are experiencing in Minnesota. But that's, you guys are set on what you're going to do, so there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the quarterback position, and I really was focused, and we talked about a pre-show on Will Howard in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not because he's a Buckeye, but the kid is a winner, and I think the Steelers is wasting a whole lot of time. With all due respect, y'all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. Y'all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you love him. You love him.
Yeah, at some point you got to go ahead and cut the cord. And allow, the young quarterbacks, Will Howard to go ahead and do his thing. Carson Beck has been a surprise.
Yes.
Carson Beck looked really good in his preseason debut. But he's coming off a high, man. I mean, winning the national championship in Miami, and now he's man, I think the Cardinals got him one. I think they do. Looking at back when it comes to Mendoza, you can only look up because the Raiders were awful. I think he
have no way to go but up. No way to go but
Mendoza, up. I say you start him. He's better than Kirk Cousins now.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that I as we're talking quarterbacks, even with Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy, is we have to look at, has Kyler Murray hit his ceiling? And if he's hit his ceiling, then JJ McCarthy's ceiling is Kyler Murray's floor. Let's be honest right now, because JJ McCarthy's a lot younger. And so, yes, you see that new Porsche, that shiny Porsche that runs well, you know what I mean? But then you got a possible Bugatti behind him. But because you don't know how to drive a Bugatti, you know about the Porsche, you're going to drive the Porsche. And I think that's what's happening in the NFL right now, is instead of allowing these young players to develop, they want to get that shiny diamond, and they want to go ahead and ride that thing. But eventually, that diamond tarnishes, and then now you gotta go with your backup plan. Okay, now you gotta go with your backup plan. So right now, when you look at Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers, how many more years is Aaron Rodgers gonna play?
This is it.
I think this is it. He's already said that.
He said
right.
This is it.
So why are you wasting your time with Aaron Rodgers? You might as well go ahead with Will Howard. Let that kid get in and let that kid. He's a winner. He's a national champion. He's a winner. He knows how to win. Nah, he ain't flashy, but he reminds me a lot of Big Ben.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to Carson Beck, the Cardinals are like, look, we're going to let this guy roll. Carson Beck looks great. Okay. And Fernando Mendoza, how far can you go with Kirk Cousins? You can't go far with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is one hit away from the glue factory. So now you've got to
paid in full.
Right. So allow these young quarterbacks, these young players. You already got Ashton Genty in the backfield with the Raiders. This is his second year. So why not give him a quarterback and they grow together? That was kind of like with Nick Chubb, and Baker Mayfield. The Browns skipped that. They should have let them grow together. Now they're begging Baker Mayfield to come back, begging him. Okay, so my thing is let these young players develop.
I totally agree with that. I think the NFL, like you said, has gone away from that because they want that shiny new toy. So we'll keep our eye on the NFL, obviously. But I want to transition. There was some news coming out of Cleveland Cavaliers camp. We could touch on this very briefly. Dennis Schröder traded to Charlotte for Tre Mann. Does that move the needle for you guys? Is there more behind this trade in terms of freeing up some money to be able to do some other things?
This is the first time I heard of who we got for him. I heard that they let him go, but I didn't know that we got, Tre Mann, who I don't really know too much about. I hate to move on from Schröder. He brings that dog. He brings that fight. Now, granted, he was subpar in the playoffs. He was. But I would have been okay with keeping him around if we could, unless you were going to deal him for a bigger name. I don't know much about this Tre Mann guy. Hot Rod, you may know a little bit more about him, but I like Schröder. I did. I liked him, his long arms, his defense, his toughness, the whole 9 yards, his expertise on the floor. But again, I hate to lose him. But again, I'm going to have to do my research on, this other kid, that we got for him.
Tre Mann.
So what of course y'all know when I saw it, I dwelled deep. And so Kobe Altman did he saved about $8 million in trading Dennis Schröder.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing then.
They are under the cap, which that's what he was really trying to work to do, was get up under the cap. I don't think Tre Mann is going to be the final piece. I don't think he's going to be here very long. I think he's going to be included in another move that's going to take place. Kobe Altman is just trying to get the money together to, either go get the young man out of Denver, whose name slips me right now, or Kuminga. One of those two moves are going to happen because Kobe Altman right now knows that, and we've said this to nauseam on this program, as the Cavaliers are constructed right now, they are 6th in the Eastern Conference. They are going nowhere. They have to make a move. They have no choice. They lost Dean Wade. They did not get LeBron James. They've got to make a move. They've got to shore up. DeMar DeRozan just signed. He's signed. Russell Westbrook has retired. Okay, and I told you the list of free agents are thin, and they ain't nothing but hamburgers and French fries with a little bit of cheese sprinkled on them. They ain't worth the money. So they got now, in all actuality, Kuminga has the leverage.
Yeah, he does.
Because this free agent pool is so terrible, he's got the leverage. So Kobe Altman has got to be smart in how he spends his money. 2, James Harden still hasn't signed his deal.
He's getting anxious too.
That's what I heard. All reports, he's getting anxious because he's like, what's going on with my deal? Now, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but let's pay attention, because if James Harden hadn't signed the deal and Kobe Altman is not in a hurry to sign James Harden, something is about to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks a little fishy, man. I totally, something's not right in Denmark. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Let me add to what you were saying too, Hot Rod. Another thing that I was hearing, which is a little opposite of what you're saying, is that Kobe Altman was kind of holding out, thinking that, Kuminga, the longer he waits, his value would lessen. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's absolutely true. However, when you had DeMar DeRozan out there, when you had Russell Westbrook out there, when you had more established names out there, then that would bring Kuminga's value down. But now that DeMar DeRozan has re-signed, Bradley Beal re-signed for the Los Angeles Clippers, and then Russell Westbrook retired. When you look at the pool of free agents that are out there right now, Kuminga is the top free agent right now. So that's why I'm saying Kobe Altman waited too long. The leverage is now back in Kuminga's court.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Love that assessment. And let me talk to 3 The Hard Way Nation fans out there. I know I've been getting a couple emails, fellas, of people like, you guys are ignoring the Buckeyes. We're not ignoring the Buckeyes. We know the Buckeyes is coming up. We will have a segment next week dedicated to the Buckeyes.
Because aren't they ranked number 1? Aren't they ranked number 1?
They're in the coaches poll. Yep.
In the coaches poll, right. And SEC Nation is upset because they weren't in the top 5. There was no SEC team in the top 5. Yeah, so their underwear are in a bunch behind that.
Yeah, but we will dedicate some time to our Ohio State Buckeyes. We love our Ohio State Buckeyes. But now it's time for a little bit of a coach's rant. A little bit of a coach's rant. I love these coach's rants. I had an idea of where Hot Rod was going to go, but it's going to be interesting to see where he's going to go on his coach's rant. Hot Rod, what do you got?
So let's go ahead and let's go to Atlanta, shall we? Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski, the ATL, the house that Dion built. We looked at them in their preseason game, and they looked absolutely awful. And I love the people of Atlanta, but Atlanta, this is what you get. Kevin Stefanski has been and will always be the worst coach in the NFL, okay? How in the world can you come out your first preseason game and the fans of Atlanta boo you? That's terrible. But guess what? Welcome to the Cleveland Browns world. This is what we had to deal with, okay? The grass ain't always greener on the other side, y'all. Kevin Stefanski left up out of here, and he left the Browns in a shambles. Now, I'm not saying he's the only one, because Jimmy has something to do with it, and so did Andrew Berry, and so did Paul DePodesta. However, he is now in Atlanta. He put the whole gang back together, Alex Van Pelt, all of them, put them all back together, and they still stink. fake. So guess what? After a certain point in time, I had a wise man by the name of Bob Gray who used to tell me, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, acts like a duck, then guess what? It's a duck. Here comes the quarterback guru.
mongoose.
Here comes the quarterback guru. Kevin Stefanski, quarterback guru. Tua Tagovailoa looked absolutely awful. He looked terrible. Yes. You can't fix that. Okay? You can't fix that. Kevin Stefanski is terrible. And Atlanta knows it. They know he's terrible. But they got to deal with it, okay? You have Michael Penix, who is actually a quality quarterback. And guess what? Michael Penix may not even see the field because Kevin Stefanski, I said this a million times over, Kevin Stefanski is the pettiest coach in the NFL. He's petty. He's super petty. So his mindset is, I'm going to do things my way. And it's only going to take one time when general manager Matt Ryan says, Kevin, we can't do that. Then all of a sudden, Kevin Stefanski's going to have a temper tantrum. Okay? So people of Atlanta, this is a warning shot. Bow to you right now. Get used to what you are seeing. Because if you think that your Falcons are going to make the playoffs in a weak division, I got a bridge in Brooklyn that I want to sell you for a couple bucks. And that is my coach's rant.
Hot Rod's coaches rant. Nice job, Mr. Hot Rod. I love those coaches' rants, But, even when you go through what you just went through in terms of coaches' rants, there's always those people that need a little bit of rehab. We can't always call our APBs for people. You got to know what to do with people when you bring them in from the APBs. They need a little bit of rehab. They need caps, boot camp. So let's roll, Cap. Who's in your boot camp?
I got a couple for boot camp. I got a WNBA player and I got an NFL quarterback. But we're going to start with a WNBA player. Ladies first. Now, let me make sure I pronounce her name correct. Dejanay Carrington. Okay, remember her? She was the one who tried to take Sophie's head off and got that flagrant 2. And then a couple of days later, she posted on social media white privilege. Come on, Dejanay. No, come on now. Yeah, come on. She put that. Yeah,
that's tough, man.
You took the girl's head off. You deserved it. Come on now. The WNBA once again is being recognized for stuff that isn't about basketball, and you girls are hooping. Y'all are hooping. I just had the Indiana Fever and Atlanta Dream on in front of me. Now I'm watching Phoenix and Portland. The girls are hooping. Stop with all of that stuff, okay? There was no need for you to post that on your social media, some white privilege. That come on now. Come on, sis. So show up for boot camp, and we're going to teach you some pro-social skills, and we're going to also teach you proper internet etiquette, okay? Proper internet etiquette. So shame on you. You'll show up. And then my man Jaden Daniels, okay? Jaden Daniels, come on, Jaden, come on. You're looking petty. You don't want your number 5 jersey to be worn, by that kid DJ Pickett. Come on now. You're not that special at LSU. There's a kid by the name of Joe Burrow who they like a little bit better than you, okay?
Woo,
they like Joe Burrow a little bit better than you, Jaden. Jaden, you are you had the potential to be great. Now, you were banged up last year up there in Washington, so they're expecting you to rebound this year and make it happen. So don't be worrying about the number 5 jersey and then also saying to send a copy of your Heisman Trophy back to you. Come on now. Now, I know your mom is your agent and your overseer, and she's doing a heck of a job with you. She's doing a heck of a job. But this one I don't agree with, okay? This one I don't agree with, and this is just me, the old Cap. So just buckle up and pay attention to those Dallas Cowboys who's loaded. Pay attention to that New York Giant football team that's loaded, okay? Pay attention to what's going on, on the field in front of you. But you look a little petty, so you show up for boot camp too, and you'll be in the same class sitting right next to Dejanay, not worried about, all that other stuff. So Jaden Daniels and Dejanay, those are the 2 for boot camp this week. We'll get you straight, get you right.
Drop and give him 20.
Yeah.
Boot camp from the Cap. Now, you know, Cap, Jaden's pretty close to you, man.
Yeah, he
so
is. Just 2 hours
north. He may hear
north.
this and come visit
Yeah,
the
he may
bookstore.
come get me. Yeah. He may come in the bookstore and slam the door on me and not buy nothing, you know? Yeah.
Cap's Boot Camp. Thanks for that, Cap. That was a good boot camp. All right, fellas, it's time for start one, bench one, cut one, and race one. I think it's my week, correct?
It's your week, L Train.
All right, we are going to go with special sporting events. Special sporting events. And once you get the 4 things that I'm going to put out there, you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about when I say special sporting events. The best special sporting events. Okay. The first one is the Little League World Series. Little League World Series. If you've ever been to the Little League World Series, that is a spectators event, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Number 2, the Field of Dreams MLB baseball game. Did you see that? The Phillies and the Twins, man.
Build it, they will come.
They build it, they will come. Field of Dreams MLB baseball. I'm going to throw a little bit of hockey at you guys. The NHL outside hockey event that they host every
I love that.
year. Sometimes they get the snowfall.
Yeah, I love that.
As well during the game. That is nostalgia.
I love
right
it.
There.
Love it.
And then last but not least, I don't know why they haven't done this again, but I thought it was aesthetically pleasing. The NCAA men's basketball on an aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm. Where I lived for a number of years.
Yep. So, Little League World Series, Field of Dreams MLB, NHL outside hockey experience, and the NCAA playing on an aircraft carrier.
Wow, man, that's
start
a good
one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
Oh, L Train, man, this is a good one. Oh,
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I'll go first. This was tough. This was tough. So I'm gonna start the Little League World Series.
Wow.
I'm going to bench the NCAA aircraft carrier games. I'm going to cut the NHL outside hockey, and I'm going to erase the Field of Dreams baseball game.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
That's tough, though. That was tough.
That's a tough one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cap, what do you got?
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
All right.
Oh, man, y'all going to be surprised. Okay. I'm going to start also because it's the kids, the Little League World Series. I'm going to start it because what even makes it even special when the major league teams come in there, like, one night and play and sits in the stands with the kids. They love it, man.
Yep.
You're sitting next to a major league baseball player. They have 2 teams that come in there where they actually play a game and the kids actually, sit in the stands and sit in the dugouts with them. So I'm going to start that. I'm going to bench the Field of Dreams baseball game. I love that. I'm going to cut the NHL outdoor game. I just think that's awesome. It's post-Christmas. It's in January. It's cold. And then I'm just going to erase the game on the flight deck, okay, on the aircraft carrier, because that's where they play on the flight deck. This was a tough one, but I'm going to erase that one, the NCAA game on the flight deck. But, man, this is one of the best start one, bench one, cut one, erase ones we've had. Wow.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
I've got, and again, Cap, during the pre-show, I know you were on after Hot Rod and I were on, but me and Hot Rod are in lockstep.
Wow.
When it comes with this, man. I am starting Little League Baseball. I think I watch that game every year.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, it was the Toms Rivers, New Jersey against Chinese Taipei. Man, those were some games. Though I watch that every year. That's one of my favorite sporting events. I am going to bench the NCAA game on the aircraft carrier. I think that's very aesthetically pleasing. I don't know how they play. I mean, you got to deal with the weather and the wind. I mean, that takes you back to the churchyard where you had to, you go up there and play. You got to deal with everything.
Yeah, the ship is moving real slow when they play that game.
Yeah,
hey, when that ball goes over the side in the water, nobody goes to get it.
Ain't nobody going to get that.
Nobody going to get it.
All right, I am going to cut the NHL outside game. I'm not a big hockey fan, but when that game comes on, I try to watch it every year.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to erase the Field of Dreams. Part of it is I understood what they were trying to do, but compared to the other three, I had to get rid of one, and that was it. I think as they continue to do that each year, they'll improve it. But I like the fact that everything was kind of old-timey. The uniforms, all that stuff was old-timey. So I really, really like that. I think we lost Hot Rod.
Right. Yeah, where did Hot Rod go?
Where'd
you go, Hot Rod?
Hot Rod will get back on here. But that's my start one, bench one, cut one, erase one, fellas.
Wow.
Let's get with our parting shot. We got Hot Rod back. Let's get with our parting shots. What do you guys have for parting shots?
Yeah, let me go ahead and start. I'm going to go with Joshua Baez of the Cardinals. Did you see that kid in his rookie debut hit 3 home runs in one game, man? 3 home runs. And I hope he got the balls back, okay? I hope he at least got one of them. You know how fans can be. I'm sure, fans may have, kept them in hopes of getting a big payday, okay? But I hope they, gave them back to him. But first thing I said we could sure use him on our Guardians because we can't hit the ball for nothing, man. We cannot hit the ball. But just imagine that, man, in your major league debut to hit back-to-back home runs, okay?
Yep.
I don't know what position he plays. I don't know much about him. I'm going to, do my homework on him. But that just had to be awesome. So that's my parting shot. Hats off to him. I think his family was there. I mean, hey, man, it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't get better than that.
And so my parting shot is to the Agua Fria High School District. Reason I say that is because I had a wonderful opportunity to meet some coaches and some young student athletes this weekend, and just had great conversation with some great kids, and just looking forward to continuing to forward the locker room and just showcasing and highlighting young student athletes who are just trying to, make their mark, not only in athletics, but in academics. So shout out to the superintendent, Mark Eastless, and their staff. And I'm really looking forward to a partnership and showcasing some great high school students out here in the West Valley in Arizona. So shout out to the Agua Fria Union District.
Wow. Yep. There you go.
Great parting shot, and shout out to you, Hot Rod. I love the direction you're taking your show.
I've been watching you.
Great things,
checking
man,
you out.
For sure. My parting shot is probably going to fly under the radar, in terms of NFL players. But the Minnesota Vikings New York Giants game, Jamal Adams, who used to be a perennial All-Pro safety in this league, made his name with the Jets, I believe, then moved on to Seattle. He had a quad tear 2 years ago. And he just hadn't looked the same in 2 years. Well, he was having a fantastic training camp, and there was an interview done up here with some of the local media, and he was so excited because he said, for those of you who have never had a quad tear, that it takes about 2 years to recover from that, especially with the position that he plays. So he felt really good that the Minnesota Vikings picked him up. And the day they picked him up, he was turning heads in training camp, man. People were talking about, he's just going to be maybe a depth piece. Well, Harrison Smith has not decided that he wants to play this year. Hall of Fame safety for the Minnesota Vikings. So Jamal Adams stepped in, and he fits perfectly in Brian Flores' defense, and he was doing work. Well, the first part of the New York Giants game, Jamal Adams was being Jamal Adams, making plays out there, running around, carefree, happy. And then a couple of plays after he made just a heck of a tackle, he hurts his knee. And I haven't confirmed what the official diagnosis is, but it sounds like he tore his knee up pretty bad.
Wow.
And so he's going to be out for the season. And, there have been a lot of injuries in MetLife Stadium. And so I said, when the Minnesota Vikings went there, I said, our starters better watch out because you're talking about the turf monster in that stadium. Well, Jamal Adams got hit with it. Odds are he's going to be out for the rest of the season. And you know what? I don't think Jamal Adams is going to come back to play football. Just listening to him talk in that interview before he got hurt, it was a tough road back. He was playing really well. It sounds like a good majority of the team had to console him in the locker room. So my parting shot is just well wishes to Jamal Adams and his family, man. It was just a sad thing to see because he was having one heck of a training camp, fellas, up here. He was doing a really, really good job.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just time to say, it's time to do something else. You know what I mean? And Jamal Adams is he's a really good football player. For a long time, he's been a good football player. But
where did he play college?
I do not know. I can't remember where he played in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do not know, but I'll have the answer for you next show. I bet you that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but shout out to him. Shout out to Jamal Adams.
Yeah. Healing energy.
Yeah.
Fellas, another great show.
Another great
Hard Way
show.
Nation, please hit that like and subscribe button, share. Our goal is, I said it last week, our goal by next week is to get over 500 subscribers on YouTube. 500 subscribers. We're at 491 right now. So 9 more. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll really appreciate it. Fellas, anything you want to say to 3 The Hard Way Nation out there before we sign off?
Y'all have a good week and hurry back. And 3 The Hard Way Nation, be safe this week.
That's right. Go tell your cousins and your mama's cousins about us, okay? All right. But y'all have a great week.
And as always, 3 The Hard Way Nation, we'll see you when we see you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.